They came from an old hospital on the south side.
I want you all to know that every session that we have will be evaluated by all of our participants. Last year's Congress and this session with the NASA's was one of the highest rated on the program. Your predecessor set the bar very high. And I will ask all of you to be honest and candid in your judgments. You know, these guys, they can help. Now, we had a tour of the world in about 30 minutes. So I think we have maybe about 30 minutes for questions. It's important for us, as we try to raise the profile of what is an exceptional public diplomacy program, that our colleagues have some sense of the experiences that you've had. So we have 2 microphones here, and I'll
for all the followers from all over the world. I'm Lobna Smida from Tunisia. I am an administrator in the presidential class, as well as I am a member of the Bureau of the International Relationship in Fatah and all the associations of the Arab world, as well as England and different worlds. My question is, I have heard when I used to be a student too much about the American civilization as well as American history. It's great to know that this country had made it in a short time, and being the leader now of the world, we heard a lot from our candidates, from the jury that is in front of me, about your role in Asia, in Africa, and all over the world. Your help is not to be ignored, of course, but I want to speak about specific issue, which is about the minorities, or let's say what we used to call handicapped people, or people now with special disabilities. I've been to your country. This is my first visit. I've admired in this special department the ramp here in front of me. You mean here that everybody could be access to that part? Are we here only to speak? It's a question. Are we here only to be elected? It's a question. How can we, or can I, as a fellow, to pursue my experience here? I'm not Lobna that came from Tunisia. No. I am Lobna, the spokesperson, as I told it many times ago, the spokesperson for Egyptians, for Morocco, for Algerian people from all over the world, even from Asia. I worked with Pakistan and I'm still. So please, our politicians, and even here, American politicians, tell us what your new perspective about us. Since I came here and I was banished from coming with Mom, I had to cover her financial trip. So please let us know what are your perspectives, since you are helping the Arab world after what we had from the revolutions. Let us know from you, and thank you.
Perspective, and I think this is shared broadly in the region. When I was recently serving as the U.S. ambassador in Oman, we had a number of initiatives where we were meeting with the various communities, including various, the blind and the deaf and other communities of people with different abilities. What we found is that the host country populations had a real awakening. They had a tendency to try to kind of put these kinds of issues aside, to try not to pay a lot of attention to them. And what we found, because in our own country, in recent decades and in recent years, we've had an awakening about the importance of these issues and these participants in our society. And so we had a very positive experience in kinds of introducing these issues. And I think that's happening generally around the world. It's a very important issue for our country and for our government. And we're doing a lot, and it's great to see the kind of support that we're getting in a country like Tunisia and elsewhere, certainly in our region, and I'm sure in other regions of the world.
Just to add one thing, that President Obama chose to have the very first international convention that he signed as president be the International Convention on Persons with Disabilities. And I think that symbolizes how important he and the American society feel about those issues, and the idea of inclusive development is very important in the United States and all over the world, and we want to partner with all countries on those issues.
I just wanted to add this, all these ramps that you see, the lifts that you see at metro stations, etc., are all the results of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It started with a law that mandated accessibility, and as our society adapted, we realized that mothers pushing babies in strollers could use those ramps. That was actually quite useful for other aspects of society. Now there's always restrooms that are handicap accessible, but that allows a mother with a small child to go in as well. I think it starts with the legal protection and then evolves to society. And I would just add, we in the State Department have a policy of promoting or making sure that people who have different abilities, as Richard said, aren't disadvantaged. I served in Thailand, in northern Thailand, where our political officer was blind, legally blind, and was able to travel up country in remote areas and fully participate, do reporting, etc. And the reason our policy promotes that is to show that everyone is capable and no one should be disadvantaged. And so I think we're trying to lead by example.
Thank you.
Could you, when you identify yourself, please tell our panel where it is that you served here in the United States, and keep your question